Hello everyone, my name is Jack. I am very tired as I usually do not wake up this early, but it's patch day baby, and that means we got work to do. In this video we will break down everything you need to know about the launch of Act 3 and patch 1.10. From what you need to know about how to play the new map Icebox, changes to how ranked will be played this act, and the huge overhauls to Deathmatch, you won't want to miss out on this one. But before we jump into that, there is some light housekeeping that needs to be taken care of first. Yesterday, the main Valorant Twitter account tweeted out that ranked will be fully disabled for the first day or so. Quote, patch stability talk. We've already found one rare audio bug on all maps, but want to get Icebox testing out as soon as possible, so we're shipping this patch with ranked entirely off, beginning with the North American, Brazilian, and Latin American time zones, starting at around 6 AM Pacific time, which is the downtime for the patch. In short, no ranked the first day of the patch. So unfortunately for those of you who want to get right into your placements the moment the patch hits, it looks like you'll have to wait a bit, but good on Riot to make this call instead of allowing people's placement matches to be a tainted experience and just making the hard call to shut it all down. The other bit of non-patch note news is that, contrary to what we've covered previously, Riot have pushed up the launch of the Middle East and North Africa server locations to today's patch. Originally, this change was slated for the 1.11 patch that would feature the introduction of Skye, but Riot decided it was better to push it up to now. Presumably as well, that means that today will probably be the new date to get the Dala gun buddy that was meant to celebrate that later launch date as well. With that out of the way, let's get into the actual patch notes for 1.10, starting off with the formal introduction of Icebox into the game. Riot opened with this interesting paragraph about the map's philosophy, reading that each Icebox site is a complex combat space that features plenty of cover and verticality. This map emphasizes skirmishes, sharp aim, and adaptive play. There's also a zipline that amplifies the feeling of quick action and verticality throughout. To me, this confirms my earlier speculations about Icebox being a much more condensed and tighter experience than other Valorant maps, except for maybe Bind. Riot want another map in the game that exemplifies who is the best at taking and winning their aim duels and using the map's layout to facilitate that to its best possible extent. Now, as for how you can play Icebox, Icebox is currently not in competitive and won't be until patch 1.11. Until then, it has been weighted to a higher extent than other maps in Unrated, Spike Rush, and Deathmatch to allow for people to get experience on it fast. Icebox is also a map that features zip lines quite heavily, including new horizontal variants quite prominently, and with that, Riot are also making some, in my opinion, quite necessary quality of life changes to how those zips work. Zip lines have had their overall acceleration adjusted to help prevent people spamming their movement keys and creating annoying scenarios for their victims. Apparently this was in patch 1.09, but not mentioned, as it would have given a hint to Icebox reveal in Riot's eyes. Which is kind of a weird thing to do, but it's not really in the scope of this video. Alongside this, ziplines now have tagging applied when you are shot on them, so now not only will you not be able to shimmy and shammy like a salmon swimming upstream, if someone hits you, you must suffer like the rest of us and have your movement slowed. Finally. Considering those horizontal ziplines on Icebox, this is a perfectly timed change, as I'm sure no one, and I do mean no one, was looking forward to 5 idiots with Odins going at Mach 1 across a zipline, spamming to their heart's content with no feasible counter. A smaller change coming with this patch is an apparent fix to the other 4 maps' vision cones on the radar. Pointed out by Reddit user Sabocano, the vision cones represented on the minimap were not always accurate. Now, this change really isn't the most impactful thing in the world, but I'm always glad to see inaccuracies in conveyance fixed, as you never want to misrepresent information to the player. It's a cardinal sin in a game like Valorant. Moving on, let's talk about the rank changes, now live, but currently not playable, but whenever Riot turns the ranked back on, then these things will be here changes. As we covered last week, ranked is getting a handful of much needed quality of life changes, including the ability to select preferred server regions for matchmaking to help improve the odds of getting favorable ping. The new rank disparity changes are now live, meaning that you will not be able to queue with anyone who is not within 3 ranks of you, either above or below, meaning golds cannot queue with diamonds or bronze players anymore respectively. And a little blurb added to this that we didn't know would be coming, Riot state that they have tightened the competitive matchmaking to help reduce skill disparity on the whole. On a personal level, I really hope this change works as advertised, as no one enjoys walking into their Gold 3 game trying to get into Plat and seeing 4 Plat 3s, a Diamond 1, and freaking Wardell on the enemy team, meanwhile somehow a Silver, a Gold, and a 5th who isn't even there and disconnected ended up on their side. So hopefully these changes work out. Other changes coming in 1.10 are the Immortal Plus ranking reworks. When competitive goes live, Immortal Plus players will only gain or lose their ranks based off wins and losses only, and we finally get clarification on the previously innocuous comments about decisiveness of the victory. Now, to gain the best possible rating increases, you need to win, and win by a greater round differential, or if you want to prevent a harsh decay, you need to make sure your losses aren't stomps. Regardless, the individual performance no longer factors into your rating changes, which should shake up Immortal Plus greatly. With that, let's get into the most substantial changes in this patch, and that's the more or less complete rework for Deathmatch. It's been no secret that DM, despite being one of the most asked for features, shipped in a state that the majority of players found underwhelming. From the low player counts, weird spawns, and minimap system that promoted gameplay that would never benefit people in real gameplay scenarios to play well in it, all of this just culminated in this necessary evil but underwhelming system for warm-up that we had up until now. Starting in patch 1.10, DM will now feature the following: 14 players instead of the previous 10, an updated spawning algorithm to encourage better, safer spawns now that there is support for a larger player count. The minimap location pulse system has been removed entirely and replaced with a single pulse during your spawn to help you orient and find a gunfight. Match length has been increased with the max kills up to 40 and the time limit taken up to 9 minutes. To go along with this, all kills will now automatically reload weapons and LMGs will receive 30 rounds in total. Lastly, XP has been increased from a pittance of 500 to a much better 900 per match. So that's quite a lot of changes, but all of them are of the philosophy of making DM less about scumming intel from a minimap wallhack and abusing clustered and erratic spawns, and more about a longer and more intuitive experience where players can better find a groove during their warm-up. I mean, there's not much else to say. This was pretty much everything I would have asked for in a DM rework, and I have to applaud Riot for listening to the criticisms from the community and basically implementing all of them. Those were most of the direct gameplay affecting changes coming in Act 3. And now, we have the small quality of life changes as well as the various spectator changes added to help the tournament scene heading into First Strike. The only changes here that affect our non-pro players are that the Act 3 pass is the first to include a skin line with unlockable variants, that being the Surge skin line, including the free-to-all Surge Sheriff. As well as that now when you request a gun from someone in a match, you can resell it as you would your own purchases, and that money will be refunded to whoever purchased your request, a much welcome change. Other than that, it's the various changes to how observers and spectators interact with the game to create the tournament viewing experience, including various improvements to conveying who is on what team and whether abilities like Phoenix's Run It Back and Reyna's ultimate are at a certain point on their timers. All of this is great for the people running our pro tournaments, and I can't wait to see what they do to continue making Valorant an enjoyable viewing experience. But between you and me, Riot, if you're watching, please, for the love of all that is holy and my sanity, can we please get a demo system? On the smaller side of patch 1.10, the player notes system from League of Legends is being transferred to Valorant as well. As someone who has never played League, I didn't know what this system was, but a bit of Googling later, and this appears to just be a feature to allow you to better sort and categorize your friends list by adding information to friends to help you identify them. If you are using a Riot account that you've also used for League, all of your current notes will transfer over to the Valorant social panel as well. It's a cool change, and I'm glad to see it transferred over. Let's wind down our patch talk today with some good old bug fixing. Riot patched various bugs within the shooting range and its user interface, so if you struggled in the Plant Diffuse module with being able to purchase abilities, that is now fixed. The UI changes included some text issues and buggy progress bars being fixed to properly display what they needed to display. Other things included some changes to fix the chat box from being cleared by your message, and finally fixing that bug where the chat box would not fade away in-game, and I am glad to see that one go. And with that, patch 1.10 is now live, and with the new season of Ranked just on the horizon, there is no better time to get ready to get the rank you want. If you want to have the best metagame knowledge, expand your personal strat books, and learn how to frag like the best players in the game, go to skillcapped.com and get the rank you've always wanted today. That's all we have for our patch notes breakdown. What's the first thing you want to do when you get into Act 3? Let us know in the comments down below. While you're down there, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more new videos and guides like this, with one goal in mind, helping you become a better player. We here at SkillCapped would like to thank you for watching, have fun out there in Act 3, and we'll see you in the next one.